Absolutely.
So be aware that there may be some nature sounds included in this presentation.
That's really lovely. I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you.
Okay, so shall we start now? Okay, Kirti has joined. Hi, Kirti.
Hi. I'm not able to see anyone. Okay, yeah. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Kirti. Kirti, if you're comfortable, you can, switch on your camera.
I'll do that. Just that my lights are not that great. So
Okay, no worries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can see you.
Hi, Kirti.
Yeah. Hello.
Okay, then should we wait for a few more minutes? Or
We can start maybe. I'll admit the participants anyway. You can.
Okay, you do. Okay, then a very heartful welcome to all the wonderful people who have joined us today for the session. And I was so excited, for today's session, and it was very magical the way, I met Deniala. She's a wonderful human being, and the kind of work that she's doing. I've always been fascinated by healers, and I always wanted to, have this. I was craving for this opportunity to interact with a shamanic practitioner, and somewhere, my prayers were answered in her form, and we connected. So it was beautiful, and I'll give a quick, not quick actually, I'll give an introduction of Deniala. So Deniala, as you all know, she is a shamanic practitioner. She's a healer, she's a coach, and she's an artist as well. She has dedicated, somewhere her whole life and journey to uplift, humanity through facilitating energy healing, ancient shamanic practices, and sacred connection with nature and its healing power. She facilitates individual and group healings so that life can be lived with grace and dignity, where challenges become source of inspiration and strength, and past stories are transmuted into personal freedom, which I personally, this I resonated this the most. How you can see your traumas and the things, the experiences that you have gone through, and how you can derive wisdom out of that. So she grew up immersed into the mystical shamanic tradition of Venezuela, where ritual, celebration, and connection with Mother Earth were part of her upbringing, and ancestral wisdom was passed down through her indigenous roots. Her work and mission is to facilitate your personal evolution by bringing awareness and expansion to those areas where you feel disconnected from life. She used natural healing gifts passed down through her South American indigenous ancestry, combined with a wide range of energy tools. She has extensively studied throughout many years to help you clear, release, and activate and bring forward shifts in your life. She is trained in indigenous with indigenous people in Mexico and Colombia, practicing ancient wisdom. She specialized in cocoa ceremony, which is a plant medicine. I was reading about it and I wanted to know more. And she received initiations in the art of shamanism, shamanic healing, and ceremony and offering. Uh, Deniala, we are so thankful and blessed, to have connected with you, and it's our blessing, to have you with us today. So I will not take much time. So over to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for such a beautiful introduction, and I am so honored to be here. And first of all, thank you so much for showing up and for giving your space and time to come and learn about it, to come and experience about this from someone from a completely different continent with completely different backgrounds. So I honor you. I honor your time, and you are very brave. And shamanism is very simple. It's really, really simple, and I is simple and complex. And I want to be able to communicate this to you in a way which can be felt and understood with all your body. And this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to elaborate from this. I want you to close your eyes, first of all. Just close your eyes. Take a breath. Attune your ear to the sound of my voice and listen to what I'm going to do. So I invite you to open your eyes. And the reason why I did this, because I wanted you to feel in a very sensorial way that the earth, our Mother Earth, Pachamama, the earth that we inhabit, has a heart. It has a heart that vibrates and is alive. What happened at the moment in society, the way we are living at the moment, we live separate from that heart. We live separate from our fellow living beings, the plants, the waters, the nature, the animals, other humans, for instance. We separate ourselves from all that we are. And shamanism is very simple. It's one of the most ancient ways in which we humans learn to understand, practice, and embody our connection with nature. Many people connect shamanism to South America, Central America, and other civilizations in this part of the world, because these civilizations have tribes, indigenous tribes, that in their formation of their way of living, they needed to find a way to understand that which they observe in their living. You know, when they were living, they lived connected to the sun, to the moon, to the rhythms of the land, to how the fruit grow. They observed and they were present in all of the different cycles of nature and how that affected them. So shamanism was a way for them to put into a system, a way to live within the cycles of nature. There was a shaman, there is a shaman. That is the role of a shaman, which is, let's say, is the person who takes care of the tribe. Is the person who takes care of the community. Is the person who has the responsibility to spiritually guide and heal those members of the community in a mental, in an emotional, in a spiritual level. Different traditions have different ways to express these shamanic ways. And these different ways are according to the demographic. So, for instance, when you go to Peru, they have the Andes. So they work more with the mountains, with the energies of the eagle, with the energies of the living beings that are high up. When you go south, you have more the rivers, you have more of the Amazon, you have more of the jungle, the deep, subtle energies that live in the land. So these are the energies that these communities identify themselves with and create a system of engagement with life that work with them. Shamanism for me has given me a way to really live very naturally. Very naturally. It's inherent to my nature. As Shalut, when she did the introduction, spoke, I grew up in Venezuela, in mountains, and offerings to nature were part of my day-to-day life. And I think this is something that we actually share with, for example, with Hinduism. You know, the offerings, the honoring of that which we are giving in energy form. But over there, our deities are the mountains, the waters, the rivers, the plants. So these are our deities that we give offerings to. So growing up seeing ceremonies of celebration, of honoring the stages of us humans as living beings, not just, you are born, you grow up, you go to university, you graduate, and like a sausage factory. No, you are a child. Then you come into manhood. What does that mean? What are the stages? What are the changes? What is life asking you to be? How do you do these transitions? So within shamanism, there is the awareness of us living beings as part of the whole. Observe a plant. Look at a plant. Look at an animal. Well, I mean, in the current society, look at an animal. Well, you are born, you are become a sausage. Okay, you have that. But in the living world, how they are living is they go through different stages of their growing. There's no imposition. It organically emerges. So shamanism just brings you a way of life where you organically emerge, connected from within to all that you are, where your true essence. And what do I mean about your true essence? Without throwing words around. Your true essence is that blueprint that came to you when you were born. That blueprint that came to you before you were conditioned to what your parents thought you meant to be, to gender, to what society dictates you are meant to be. That blueprint that comes, and we all have that. It's when you close your eyes and you are in deep enjoyment and you are in deep celebration of your being. In that subtle moment when you are connected to that divine source that you are part, that is your blueprint. And shamanism celebrates that and allows you to let that emerge from within. They call the mask off and be your true self. Why shamanism is so relevant right now in the world that we live in? I mean, in the world that we live in at the moment, we have things like, laws that are trying to protect the ecology or green policy. Is the sound okay?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. We have green ecologies that are trying to, ban these sort of policies about, we need to protect the air and save the air. But what we lost awareness of is like the earth is living, is existing within itself. We are not here to save it. We're not here to protect it. If we observe how life have evolved, the air can shake itself. We can have a tsunami and we cease to exist. It's as simple as that. We think we have the ability to control and manipulate the earth, but the earth is so incredible, so potent, that one thing that many of us have felt to connect with is, what about if I live as one with the earth? And when you have the awareness of living as one with the earth, that affects all of how you think, how you perceive, how you live with life. Why? Because you are not thinking in the terms of, I need to recycle. It comes naturally. What I consume, how I speak, how I treat my fellow human, what do I give, what to receive, is natural. If I am part of a one, of a whole, as without, so within. So this is another thing about shamanism and why it's relevant to our modern days, because it gives us a very simple awareness beyond the mental constructions of the green, the ecology. We need to save the planet. It just is sink to. There's no fight. It is, well, if I am part of the planet, then I have the responsibility to, and it becomes natural, and it defies ceases. And we take personal responsibility for the part that we have within that, which is where all consciousness and aware comes from, to take personal responsibility. So shamanism offers a route to understand that responsibility from a very simple way. I am part of the whole. And in being part of the whole, I do my part. And so I am conscious of what is that part. So I give you an example. When you live in the city, something that it came really obvious to me. I lived in London for 13 years before I moved to Spain and before I was in Venezuela. And I remember looking just simply to garbage bins. Sometimes when I was walking down the street, and people live singly and they have and I will go wow, this one person have 3 garbage bins. They consume a lot. It might be because they drink beer. All of these things are good, but they are consuming a lot. They're one person, and all of this to the planet. All of it to the planet. So it's it makes you aware of that. Okay, so where is my position? And then from that position, how I can honor that which I am part of. I give and I receive. So I am part of that cycle. So that is one level of how shamanism is relevant in modern life. When it comes to shamanic healing, when it comes to living shamanically, shamanism gives us a way to very simply connect to our inner senses. We are beings of physical form. We are spiritual beings full of incredible capacities, but we are in this physical body expressing. We have touch, we have our voice, we have our senses, we have our hands, our kinesiology, and what shamanism reminds you of is to live in connection to all of your senses from a pure way. And these senses are about remaining in the look, in the gaze, in the observation, of not losing your touch with that part that you are at. When was the last time we put our hands in the air? Some of us. Well, I did that this morning, but when was the last time we gave thanks for the food that we eat? I'm sure a lot of people here are doing that, but I'm talking about in the wider society. There are so many things that come into our life, and it's just well, I have it, and we kind of take it for granted. And this is about remaining connected, remaining aware, living simply, and in keeping this thread of energetic connection to how we experience life. Naturally, we feel as part, as one. The shamans that I train, the shamans that I spend time with and share ceremony with, they're very simple guys. There are a lot of tools of shamanism. When you think about shamanism, you think about feathers and rattles and big headpiece and these rituals. They are so simple, but the magic and the mysticism and the energetic word that is contained behind is something that takes shamans and shamanic practitioners many years to master. It's an understanding of the energy body that the person contains, the different bodies, the different subtle bodies that exist within our being, and what happens when these subtle bodies are not working in harmony. What happens when we have an illness what's happening underneath, behind the scenes, what is blocked, what is stuck, where at some point of our life something happened that created an imprint, that created the soul, a piece of our soul to freeze, a piece of our heart to get constricted, and make us live in like a little cage. Beautiful things of life open, but living in little cages constricted because we are not aware of what's happening behind our settled body. So a shamanic practitioner or a shamanic healer allow you to navigate what you cannot see. And it's the subconscious and it's the settled body. Shamans work with many things. They work with feathers, they work with crystals, they work with the drum, with music, with sound. They work with plant medicine. So you have probably heard, well, I don't know, that there is ceremonies and plant medicine ceremonies that they do in the jungle. All these are ramifications of shamanism. So shamanism is not just one thing. I would like to clarify that. And depending upon the tribe, depending upon their traditions, they will use a tool for the community to heal. So ceremonies are so important in shamanic traditions, and for shamans or for shamanic healers to facilitate and participate, because this is a communal way for people to come together and be acknowledged. This is something that doesn't happen in our day-to-day, in our societies. You get sick and you go to the doctor. But in shamanic traditions, you get sick and your community get together to accompany you during the healing process. And if this healing process might contain that the shaman or the shamanic practitioner go into a space of trance, they look at the energetic body. And this is, I'm explaining a traditional ceremony, by the way. And they, during the night, they sing, they play the drum, and all together, they focus their energy to create this healing. This is a traditional ceremony. A modern shamanic practitioner like myself, we work upon this kind of understanding and this in a more smaller setup, connecting with the energy body, connecting with the subconscious, guiding you to those places to release where there is pain and trauma. So yeah, I think I have talked a lot. So if you have any questions, but yeah, I think we should give it a little break for all of this to sink in, because I have definitely talked a lot. So maybe this is a good time to open the space for any questions, and then I will continue with the rest of the presentation and the drum journey. So how have you guys felt about what you hear so far? You have any questions, anything that has synced to, anything that is like, oh wow, this is similar to my tradition in my country, or anything like that?
I just want to add something, if that's all right. Just want to share something. I think I was just listening to you, and it definitely feels that there's so much knowledge out there, and when you hear, you feel that okay, like there are so many things we take for granted, so many things we don't know the other side of it. I really liked what you said, a very, very simple thing, but we tend to don't understand that. I think when you were talking about that, when a child is born and after that, goes to school, then looks for a job, we don't realize that, it's more like from a childhood to you're entering a manhood. How does it, change? What exactly is happening, rather than looking at this child will go to school or will get a job. That's such a fantastic way of looking at it. I mean, this is so sad that we don't look at it. We are focusing on, like what the school will be, how do we get a job. But thank you so much for bringing this angle, because I think that's a very new kind of a thing. I've never heard this before. That that we can think from this side as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And yeah, this is something that is not only in this part of the world, is accessible to us. If we look at nature, look at a plant. You don't plant a seed and says to the seed, hey, grow and give me fruit now. No, and the fruit needs to be round shape and then put in universe. No. When we look at a seed, the seed comes to the earth, gets in the darkness, get food, get soil, get the nutrients, sprout, and then pierce and get the sunlight, and then becomes a little shoot, and then it keeps growing, and then it gives you a little flower and maybe a little fruit, depends, or it becomes a tree, and then the circle of life continues, and then the winter comes, the leaves fall down, and it dies, and then all of the circle starts again. And this is us as well. We live in a mentality that we live linearly. I do this, I do that. If I create this, for life is in a circle. We're living in a spiral where everything is continue and ever changing. We have seasons, but I don't know, maybe over there you haven't got seasons, but in the earth we have seasons, and we are living, our bodies intuitively know we live according to these seasons. And this is sometimes where, when we forget, we may fall ill, because it's like, why am I, you push yourself so much, you fall ill, and it's like, of course, I am not living in harmony with what is presented in my life. I am pushing beyond. So shamanism is also the awareness of, we are part of a cycle, like the earth, like the sun as well. Observe the sun and observe the moon. It rises and it goes, and it cycles, and it does. So why we think, oh, well, I'm going to stay up and have a coffee and do some work and push and put. We can do it, of course, but it comes sometimes with the price of disconnecting. And then we get lost in something that we might not even know, and also the price is also not ever know what is your true essence from when you were a seed. So let's all become and connect to our seedness.
I would like to add, like what Shantini said. It's also something that actually synced with me, like you said. When you said we think that we can protect Mother Earth, or it needs us and we are going to work towards that. It's more about if you are also part of that process, or Mother Earth is like much bigger than us, but we are like parts of it. And if we heal, if we are in harmony with it, that means we are also contributing in Mother Earth's healing. So that is something that really struck me. So yeah, thank you.
And that's so beautiful, and remind me of, there are three levels of shamanism. A shaman from Venezuela who I met in the Amazon explained me this. There is an apprentice shaman who, well, he got chosen by his community, or he was born with the abilities. You can come to this in many different ways. There is the second level shaman, which he knows that, or medicine woman, by the way, that he knows that through his thinking, through his way of interacting with nature becomes abundance. So he doesn't do much in physical form, but with his praise, with his prayer, with his way of living, he creates a reality in which nature never ceases to be in scarcity. it continues to be growing. It took me time to really sink into this awareness, because I thought, no, but you have to fight for the planet. But what you do when you fight is you are fighting with the same sword. It creates more of the same. So this shamanism, this second level shamanism, is a very feminine way, which is more needed. And when I talk about feminine, it's not about woman and man or separation. It's just the qualities of nurturing life, nurturing our environment, our society from within, from very deep qualities. And the third level shaman is the shaman that works with certain plants medicines. And this is a shaman that, for example, he can travel to and work during the dream world, and they can do things like what's the word in English? ¿Cómo se dice? Shape shifting. They can do shape shifting. So they, for example, they can during the dream world travel to nature and interact with the unseen spirits to turning into a lion or turning into a tiger or an anaconda. So they work to different types of symbolism. The third level shaman is the one that they go into what they call the underworld. And the underworld is just a metaphor to say the subconscious of the collective consciousness, where, for example, there are things that the shaman is equipped because of his training, of his awareness, to shift, shape, and release, and sometimes fight. So this is the third level shaman. What I learned with this abuelo, with this grandfather, with this shaman in the Amazon, is that the third level shaman that uses plant medicines to access these altered states of consciousness is still a human. So within this humanness, it can still create this separation. So I love practicing the second level shamanism, which is a more feminine, gentle way in which there's no separation. And I have worked with medicinal plants before, long way ago. They were part of my journey and my training. And they were on a stage that made me, from a very impactful way, understand that connection with nature. Because when you are in a process with a plant, you are feeling it from within. But what I learned is that there are more harmonious ways to get this connection. And this connection is accessible and is present and is part of all of us. It's just having different ways to connect that. So today, when I guide the journey, we're going to do the same process without the plant. I do, however, work with a very beautiful plant, which is cacao. And cacao is just simply raw chocolate. Just simply raw chocolate. So you will may be asking, what? Chocolate? Yeah. There's no coincidence why woman and men, and we love chocolate so much, because chocolate in its raw form has a component, an activated component that expands the heart, that connect us to very intuitive parts of ourselves. You know, when you eat chocolate, you feel really good, no? You're like, oh, I want more. It feels really well. Oh, I feel love. And you associate chocolate with love, with like feeling sensuality, with femininity. It's because this, in its raw form, these qualities are in this plant. So chocolate is also it has a similar quality like coffee. It hasn't got caffeine, but it has theobroma, that it makes you a little bit excited. How I work with chocolate is that energy can be focused, it can be shared, it can be guided into the heart. And when you bring that energy into the heart, it expands it and create a healing with it. the Mayans used to use it, and the Aztecs in their ceremonies and rituals. So it has been used ancestrally, and I learned about it in my journeys in Mexico, where they still do chocolate ceremonies there. Yes, guys, they have chocolate ceremonies in part of the world. Do you have chocolate ceremonies there in India? I'm sure I haven't heard of that. So yeah,
I think every time we eat a chocolate, it's a ceremony for us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hi Daniela. I have a question for you. Actually, when you were talking about the climate change thing that the world leaders are talking about, and they are more looking on the part of mitigating it rather than addressing it at a root level. So I think they must sit with shamans and get the solution of climate change. That will be more effective. I wanted to ask a question that we know that there are tribes throughout the world in every part of the world. And before industrial revolution, or we can say before agriculture revolution, they were everywhere. And the agriculture revolution and later the industrial revolution changed the whole picture of this earth. And these revolutions, kind of started a process of disconnecting human beings from the nature. Uh, and I hope that the sense of this disconnection would somehow would start a connection process. But I wanted to understand that whether this whole phenomenon of shamanism or the practice shamanic practice uh, was there with every tribe in the world, or it was limited to only some tribes.
well, when you think about colonialization, Western countries coming to colonialize different parts of the world, they were already civilizations with very advanced traditions, but because of these processes of colonialization, many of those traditions were eradicated because Catholicism or other religions got broad. So what we have right now is the leftovers of small groups that have tried to hold on to these traditions. However, what I have noticed in the past 10 years is, with the rising of the global issues that we have, with the burning of the Amazon, the cutting of many different pieces of land for wood, or modern industrialization, even people from here, from Europe, they want to find a way to, go beyond this idea of we can do it through political means or through social means, and how can I participate with that? So these shamanic traditions are now very present here and prevalent, and you see your fellow Swedish shaman who have traveled to South America and traveled there. So it has created a diversity. It has created more people to bring back to this tradition. And also what it has made is people go back and question their own roots. Because I give you an example. England, in the UK, they have what they call do it traditions, which were all ways of interacting, their own all ways of interacting with the land. Through, for example, ley lines, energy points, water, knowledge, and those traditions were lost. So in very little places of England, they still preserve this tradition. And now, because of all of these South American and Central American traditions coming back, people are questioning, so where are my own? And I love that, because this is something that I encourage people, and I have encouraged people to do in ceremonies and training. It's not about looking to other sources, externalizing, Nature is in your environment. We have our own plants, we have our own medicine, our own energy. It's just how do I create a relationship with that which is available to me? And also something that I haven't spoke about, and I'm gonna go off the rail now, is to look at your own body. Where in shamanism there is the basic concept of the four directions. So we are looking at the north, the east, the west, and the south, and these directions of the circle of life, of the medicine wheel, have a meaning. And these meanings are based upon which cycle are you in life. However, there are four inner directions. There's the inner child, there is the inner nurture, the inner sage or wise woman, and the inner warrior. And we have these directions within ourselves. We also have four elements that we have contained within ourselves. We are water, our tears, our blood, our bodily functions. We are fire. You know, the processes that get ignited into our stomach. Actually, you guys have it in Ayurveda, all of this concept. We are fire, you know, we have the pitta. We are earth, all the minerals that we need to live in, where our food comes from. So we consume earth, we are air, and we are air, which in shamanic living is your voice. Your voice, this is earth. You're constantly emanating earth, creating, you're creating monoxide of carbon. And also your thoughts, they are transmitted, how you call it? Perdón, I'm thinking in Spanish now. Receptive transmitters that with air they travel. So we are all these part elements. So when we're thinking like, oh yeah, no, I'm just, this individual existing alone in life. Well, no. No. We are part of all of that. And sometimes our own life reminds us of that. It's like we need water. We cry. We connect with the tears. The emotions start moving. We need that movement. We need to flow. So we remember that we have water. Things need to shift. Fire is missing. The passion for life is missing. Our stomach gets constricted or the digestion is not working. We cannot let the past go. We cannot digest life. We're missing fire. So we need to work with fire. And what shamanism gives you is a very physical way to do it, to remember these things. What is what? I am water, so I'm gonna work with water. I am fire, I am air, I am earth. And in balancing this, you are balanced with life. In balancing this, you balance the four aspects of your inner family. If you have a very unbalanced inner child, or some people don't even let their inner child come out, you are attached to thinking ways, making things happen, anger, woundedness. That's an imbalance in a child. Or maybe you are not connected to your creativity and your source of innocence. When your inner child is active, it's that part of ourselves that is like the purity, divine connection. Is there. It's the laugh from the belly. When you are connected to your inner nurture and it's balanced, then you can nurture life, you can nurture yourself, you can nurture all living beings. A disbalanced inner nurture, it nurtures everyone else but itself. So these are the kind of people who have the tendency to be like the sacrificial mother, the givers. They're like, oh my God, I have to give, do. A balanced inner nurture is needed because you are part of life. So you see, you cannot give to life that you don't have. So shamanism also offers you a very sincere way to check these things within yourself. A balanced inner sage or wise woman is connected to, or wise man is connected to his intuition, his inner voice, his sense of wisdom, his dream world. He getting signs from nature. He reads these signs. It's not like, oh my God, what I should do now. No, he observes. He observes himself, his environment. What is my environment telling me? Why do I keep bumping myself on the same place? On this little finger, why do I keep cutting myself? Many people go like, oh, it's because I am not, attempted. And it's like, no, life is trying to tell you something. Maybe learn to use a knife better, but if it's in the same place several times, or maybe you have a little bird coming into your house, or maybe an insect visiting you just there, and you just, instead of observing, you just go like, ah! Hey, it may bring you something. It might be an invitation to stop and observe and see, are you connected or are you... Sometimes it's about, are we connected, are we present, or are we in fear, in reacting? And then in a warrior, when we are balanced on our inner warrior, we don't fight life. And in a warrior, protect his family. It's a warrior of light that brings the knowledge, the innocence, the joyfulness of the inner child. It nurtures from within. It gives it to the sage to know how it's going to be projected in the reality, and then the warrior makes it happen. So you see, when we have a balance in a family, we are balanced. Our personality, our inner self is balanced. And in so we express in a balanced way. So this is to give you what happened behind. Also, it's a lot of information. So maybe we have another time to stop and check. And I'm just going to check the time to make sure we have time for the journey.
Yeah.
How long do we have?
Okay, so one of the participant, Ashish Ji, he has a question. He's writing, hello Deniala, thank you for introducing shamanism. My question is, what kind of practices we can take up in our daily lives so as to become aware of our connection with Mother Earth?
Beautiful. This is something really beautiful. The first thing I will say, I will invite you to observe your environment, your personal environment, to observe yourself, to take upon some of the things that I have said and let it sink within you. And in observing your environment, apply the principles of gratitude, of connection. So it might be as simple as in the morning when you wake up and you're drinking your first sip of water, you just say thank you to the rivers, thank you to the streams, to the lands that made this water, this fresh water, to come and nourish me and give me life. Thank you for being in the flow of life. So that's a way that you are acknowledging this inner water, and you are also acknowledging the source. So you see how you are creating the connection. It's an invitation of become aware from a very simple physical way. Another practice that you can do is to, in the morning, sun gazing. Have you heard about sun gazing? Sun gazing is by nature a shamanic practice. So we look at the sun to feel the energy of the sun and to feel ourselves, to connect with the energy from that resource that we have inside. So if you want to take something from today, see, I will invite you, because apart from what you're learning from me, it's a very personal and intimate relationship. So I'm going to invite you to make this connection, to look at the moon and see what it transmits you. And then from there, you create your own correlation, your connection, your thread, and you nurture that thread. You see, I don't want to give you a formula, because for me, my connection to nature is I sing all the time. I sing to gratitude. So that's me. But you can make offerings. You can also, another very simple practice that you can do. What was his name? Sorry.
Ashish.
You can give thanks, you can bring offerings to the land, to you, or to the place that you have. And those offerings are made as from a place of reciprocity. We are giving as we are receiving. So it's a way to honor this receipt, everything that we receive, because even though we have delusion that we have to pay for this, we giving these things, we giving these vegetables, these clothing, these homes, these things that sustain us, and they all comes from the earth. Nobody pays Mother Earth. Nobody goes, hey Earth, here, have $50 million for all of that, and we pay to other people that profit from that, and that is, people have to make stuff to profit, but this is a way of us acknowledging what we are receiving and the source that comes from. And in acknowledging that, it creates a thread of you acknowledging yourself also as a source of creation. Because you are also a source of creation. And you're just putting yourself back in the equation. We're changing here the paradigm that, I am a good citizen, so if I pay my taxes, then I am a good citizen, then I give to life. There are many ways to give to life. But do pay your taxes if you want to.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't pay your taxes, but what I'm saying is there are many ways to give to life. So do an offering.
Okay, I have one more question. Maybe can we ask it now or at the end?
No, now.
Now? Okay, so I've been reading about it is also part of my interest and also some part of my research work that I do. How does, and I've been hearing and I've watched a lot of videos by Shasha Cobra. I think she works on sexuality and full body orgasm and all. So I just wanted to know, how does shamanism looks at sexuality, because in a lot of religious or spiritual practices which I was in my childhood or when I was growing up I was aware of, it mostly talks about the spirit, and but connecting with your body and how your body is part of this whole um, environment, or how your body is also a medium of realizing that kind of spiritual energy. So how does shamanism looks at sexuality and this whole sexual energy? I would like to know that.
Yeah, sure. So our connection with sexuality and the physical forms in our body that create this energy is present in shamanic practices. Some traditions are a bit orthodox with this.
Yeah.
And this is something that when I learned, I was quite aware of. So, for example, when you go to Mexico and you work with the people from the El Camino Rojo, which is the red path, women and men are very distinctive. There's a place for men, there's a place for women. The men energy is this way, the female energy is this way. And so it creates separation. I found the same when I work with indigenous in the Amazon. They were so aware of the energy, for example, of the woman, that a woman in her cycle could not come to the ceremonies because the energy for the men was too strong. And in fact, I got really surprised because the emotional energy of the woman cannot be contained. So instead of acknowledging that, they put it aside. So this is something that, with my modern eyes, and also my own sense of self, making sense of all of this, I question. Another thing that I noticed, which was so interesting, is in these very potent medicine circles, that I took part with, like hallucinogenic plants on one stage of my shamanism. In some of them, the women don't sit. And I will be like, why? And then, because I spent time with these tribes and I live with them, so I didn't speak the language. They speak their traditional language, so I had to observe a lot of what was going on. And I got that women, for example, the female organ have already so much energy contained within it. We have intuition. We have developed that sensitive side that we don't need plants. So they do have the awareness of these energies and this sensuality within it and what it represents. And some of them, to answer your question, see it as dangerous because they don't understand it. Yeah. Okay, so this is where also, okay, in some tribes, what is done is work separately, these energies, and that's the reality of it. So, I mean, this is the things about traditions. They get them to a point until they work, and then for them to evolve is a bit difficult. So, yeah, they do have the understanding of this, the sensuality of the woman, of the sexual energy, but they treat it as the role of the male, the role of the female. This is where they are, this is where they are. And they don't mix, because when they mix, it creates life. So is that answer your question?
Yeah, somewhere. Like also, on only referring to her videos, she says even the meditation practices, most of them, like if you consider Vipassana and there are different, it requires you to sit still. But she says that is like very masculine way of looking at it. But feminine energy is a moving energy. So if you feel every part of your body and every organ, that means you are sinking in with your body, and a lot of maybe healing or a lot of suffering is there, or traumatic events are somewhere, emotions are stuck in your body. So when you feel each part of your body, that means you are somewhere addressing it and you're feeling it, and your energy is sinking in with your body, and that somewhere contributes to the healing. And I think that is also related with the collective thing. So
yes, like for example, in Mexico, they have what they call the sun moons and the the sun dance and the moon dance. And these are ceremonies and gatherings that they do for 5-6 days, when they gather and they dance to the sun and the moon. They fast and they use their whole body as a way of prayer. And during this process, they are fasting, they are dancing, they are doing sweat lodges, which is like a type of ceremonial inipi, like a type of sauna. Okay. They are praying to the stones. The stone represents the grandmothers, the ancestors. So this is a very feminine way of engaging with prayer, bringing the elements, moving the body, doing prayer. We're more in the South American side, especially Venezuela. In some of the Amazon tribes, as I say, especially the ones that where the women don't participate, the traditions were very masculine, in the sense of you will go and sit still in a little tool, and you learn to masterfully, with your focus and direction, to navigate yourself in these very heightened states of ways, like when you are basically hallucinating, but you have to keep still. So you see the difference and how they have embodied these ways. But it's also about the role. It's not right or wrong. It's just, for example, that in Mexico, their civilization was longer, so they have more time, and they also have the influence of the Native Americans that came and shared traditions with them, the Indians from the north. And these traditions expanded, where in South America there were single tribes practicing this and making sense of their own, and they stay in that way. So they didn't expand it in such a way. In the Andes in Peru, for instance, it's more about and Colombia, yeah, and Colombia, it's more about offerings, the process of offerings. So they don't do so much in some of the high, the tribe in the, ¿cómo se llama? Sierra Nevada. In the Sierra Nevada, there's a tribe called Kogi. They don't use any plant medicine. And they are one of the most masterful shamans I ever know. Why? Because they live in constant observation with nature. They are so pure. But I mean, you look at them and they're like, oh, there's an eagle. There's a water. They are completely present. Completely present. So that's their way to communicate with all that is divine and with energy. But again, coming back to your question, is depending upon the demographic, depending upon how much they miss, depending how much these traditions evolve. And also, there are things that I still don't understand, to be honest, that I'm still to learn and discover. So, yeah, I look forward to going back and spending time with them again.
Thank you. Thank you for answering.
Hello. Yes, thank you so much, and it was really a very good presentation. But my question is very different. So basically, I am interested in knowing basically what is happening in Venezuela at right now. What is the political climate there?
I am not in Venezuela. I am in Spain. So to talk about what's happening there, it will be from a place of no experience. I can tell you about what's happening with my family, and it's difficult. So that's all I can share. So all I will be giving you is just opinions based upon a perspective of not living experience. So I will not offer you that.
Okay.
Out of respect for you. Just opinions is no.
Okay,
So I think we have some. Yeah, sorry?
I have a question.
About the political situation of Venezuela.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Actually, I born and brought up in a plain area near Ganges. And after living there, and moving here and there in different parts of the country, in cities and villages also, what I perceive that I should go to mountain and should reside for whole my life there. But there comes a question in my mind that is not a place where I was born. So whether if I will be going from a different place to mountains, whether I will be creating a disturbance there, or how I can become a part of the mountains in the way it should complement it, I don't know. So there always comes a question like this. So what you will say about this?
Okay. So where is this? I will ask you, where is this connection? Where is this inclination with this mountain come from? How do you feel it?
I don't know. Means in mountains also there are many habitations, but I don't want to live in those habitations in the mountains. I just want to live in a very serene place where there are no people around me, maybe in 2 to 3 kilometers. So I just want to, maybe I just don't want to face any human being around me. I don't want to interact with them like this. But I just don't hate them, but yes, definitely I just want to have my time with me, and that time can be years and years.
Okay, so what was your question? Sorry, I didn't understand.
My question was like, I was not born and brought up in Himalayas. That mountain range is near me. So
but I am feel a connection with it.
Yeah, so I am going from a plain area. So in the mountain will be a new thing for me, and mountain will be like, yes, you are new to me. how I can accept you. Maybe you can create a disturbance. So always this question comes in my mind. So how I can go to Himalayas and how I can develop a bond, a relationship with Himalayas so that it welcomes me. I should not create any disturbance to that place.
Beautiful, beautiful question. Thank you so much. Yeah, first of all is to sink into the awareness of you are diverse. We are diverse. So even though we are born in a place of that is presented to us, and we learn to identify that nature, that bit of nature, a part of ourselves. What if you're open to understanding your way or getting to know yourself from a different place? So what I will do is bring an offering. If you are not there, give an offering to the mountain and start communicating with the rocks, with the big pieces of earth that have inhabited that place for eons and that have so much knowledge, energetic knowledge inside of it. Start to develop a relationship, and that connection, that communication, that you seek will come to you. I have a mountain that I travel. This place in Venezuela that it's called the Roraima Mountain, and when I go there, I have basically superpowers. I don't joke. Like, I can run, I can walk at a very fast speed. I don't get tired. This is my home. I feel it. I wasn't born like that. It's just I acknowledge this connection and I work with it. And with my visualization and with my physical presence, I develop this connection. I ask questions. I become interested. I feel the land. So, for example, if you are not in Himalaya at the moment, just find a way in your meditation to feel it. And to ask the land, how can I live in accordance with you? How can I live in harmony with you? And it will come to you.
Thank you, Daniela.
So now I think we're gonna go to the journey, yeah?
Yes. So if anybody has any question, they can write it to me, and then I will forward it to Deniala. Okay. I also have few questions. I will forward it to her. So I feel that now we can move forward with the with the session, and yeah.
Beautiful, thank you. I love talking, but too much information overloads the brain. So let me invite you to feel it. So you can put the camera off, or you can leave it on. We're gonna do a guided meditation. So just to let yourself be comfortable now. Get into a position where you're gonna be still for the next 10 to 15 minutes. And let your imagination to guide you. Let your vision to activate. Allow yourself to trust that you are held in safe hands. And where you are going to be guided is simply to the depthness of your being. Just that, to the depthness of your being. So we're going to start now. And I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath in. To the nose, and a deep breath out to the mouth. Releasing any tension. Letting the mental chatter to cease through. Inviting your essence to come true. Take another deep breath in. And a deep breath out. allowing intuition, allowing easiness, flow come to you now. Take another deep breath in. And a deep breath out through the mouth, softening the belly, the shoulders, the legs, the feet. Go back to your breath through your nose. And I'm going to invite you now to feel hell. Feel the presence in your body, in your feet, in this space of being held by the earth, by Mother Earth, Pachamama. Let yourself be cradled by her. Continue breathing in and out through the nose. And with each breath, let yourself sink deeper into your being, feeling more and more at ease in your body. As we start. I'm going to invite you now to visualize, to imagine deep roots emerging from the center of your being, beautiful roots that contain all of that you are, and that are growing and growing to your legs and down to your feet, connecting you to the earth. Allow these roots to emerge, piercing the crest of the earth, traveling down to the soil and down into the different capas of the planet. Let this root keep growing and growing and growing until they pierce all of the natural resources contained in the land. They go to the crystal grid of the earth and they keep traveling down and down deep within the earth. And as these roots travel down, you see a heart, a big pulsating heart in the middle of the earth, in the center of the planet. Allow these roots, your roots, now to connect you to the heart of the earth. Let yourself feel the pulsations of the planet. Allow yourself to feel the flowing of the river. Allow yourself to feel the vibrations of the wind. To completely become one heart with the earth. From this deep rooted connection to the heart of the earth, I'm going to invite you now to connect with the waters of the planet. Feel, see, taste, touch, sense, immerse in the rivers, in the Ganges, in the lakes, in the waterfalls. Connect with your own waters and let them flow to you. And let them wash away anything that is being held in your heart. Let it wash, let it flush. Come, give it to the air. Awareness of your blood, form that runs through all your veins. Breathe in and out, connecting to the vibrancy, to the health, to the flowing, to the purity, with the aliveness of the blood. Allow yourself now to start gathering back your roots from the earth, giving thanks, acknowledging, honoring what we have received from the heart of the earth. Let these roots now shrinking back, coming back to your body, bringing with them all that you have received. Take a deep breath in now, a deep breath out. Without opening your eyes, just allow that connection to every living being that is in this circle to emanate from your heart. Giving thank you for this moment that we have created ourselves to connect as one with ourselves and with the planet. And in your own time, you can open your eyes and slowly, slowly come back to the room.
Well, wow. What a beautiful experience.
And in the shamanic traditions, if we have a couple of minutes, we can all close the circle by saying a few words of what we felt or what we experienced. I think did my connection got lost at one point? I don't know. playing. So my drum, it was the screen was dark when I opened my eyes, basically. So I don't know.
We listened to the entire.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
This was beautiful. Like, I actually could feel what you were speaking. And it's amazing how it's possible to feel all of that with guidance, or maybe just how imagination can heal this imagination. So,
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this, Deniala.
I think in one word it was wonderful. Are you able to hear me? In one word, it was wonderful because so I I think I was floating in my feeling. Like I felt very light when I started. When I was sitting for the session, when I started attending the session, I had this slight pain in my ankle and the lower back. It seems a little light now. I don't know if it has disappeared or what it is, but I feel very light. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay, Archana is writing. It was something magical, and okay, I could feel goosebumps. Just amazing. I too feel, I too feel this, you know, I feel that, since from like so many days I have not visited the person that I am, I've not gone through inside, what my hands are feeling. And when you said now the blood flowing in your body, just that was, wow. Thank you so much.
And I also want to share my experience.
Mm.
I felt like nature, the Mother Earth, and its creation communicating to me that you have been so away from me that you have forgotten me, and now you have came near to me, and let's establish a relationship again, and just never forget each other as you forgot earlier. So that was kind of going near to your origin from where you are, and there were tears in my eyes. I don't know why.
I too feel, very overwhelmed. And from this session, what I learned about, shamanism, and from now onwards, I will not see anything devoid of spirit. Everything, even inanimate objects, everything has a spirit. And, even I will see, plants and things are in my surrounding differently. So thank you so much for giving me this, beautiful gift, right? I would say. So,
Truly echo with you. I think I'm just not able to express myself because I'm in that zone and I feel like just sitting quietly, and it's very peaceful. So maybe just not able to express myself, but the feeling is just wonderful.
Thank you. So beautiful.
I just want to share one thing that I am not a regular meditation practitioner, and but I do connect with forest and nature in my own way at my own level. But during this session, the drum beats that were playing that actually made me realize that there is a rhythm to your body, to yourself, and that really helped me center. So I think I'm going to explore this more, and I would like to hear like what are these beats, how important what kind of role do they actually play in in your own body rhythm, or there's a rhythm to everything. So if you could just shed some light on these the rhythmic, maybe patterns or expressions.
Yeah, thank you, Kirti. And actually, the reason why I got you to the heart of the earth, it wasn't a coincidence. The drum beat is the same rhythm of the heartbeat of the earth, which is our heartbeat. So it's a very physical way to remember this single rhythm that we are connected to. And what the drum does is attune the focus so we can listen what is there all along, which is the heart of the earth and our own heart. It's the same sort of thing that we access when we are in deep stillness. Like when you are saying, when you walk in forests and you connect with nature, there is one moment when the subtleness of divine comes into place. So the drum beat is just a very physical way to say, hey, I'm here, listen, and then you can drop yourself and go. And you also have other reasons. The drum, a single beat, take you to a state of trance. So your brain waves can relax and actually get to the theta state. We're talking about brain waves. And in that theta state, new information can come through, and we can come to more heightened states of awareness. Yeah?
I think I'm gonna try digging more on this. Yeah. Thanks a lot, David. The session was amazing. Yeah, I'm still processing a lot of things, but thanks a lot.
You can try to hug a tree also.
Yeah, I've tried doing that, but yeah, not for so long. I should actually explore that also more. Yeah.
Thank you. I want to read what the Vianney said. I am feeling very blessed and grateful to have such a wonderful experience. I actually felt how flowers are embracing my inner self. Everything, I felt water flowing in me in the way made me feel light and real. Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you, Daniela, for the experience. And thank you for coming. That's so beautiful. Yes, this is what I was saying to you guys, that is, this connection is very unique. So the invitation is to establish, harness, nurture this connection from your own way, from your own essence. And yeah, thank you for having me here. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Deniala. Now I would like to invite Meenu to offer a vote of thanks to Deniala in today's session. Yeah.
Okay. I think a lot of people have said a lot of things already, and yes. I don't know, even just looking at you, I'm feeling so much love towards you, and it's just flowing, which is very wonderful because it's just flowing and it's very naturally coming. And thank you so much for being here, for helping us draw and look at this bond and linkage with ourselves, to all of us who are here, and to Mother Earth, and then to the universe, of course. I hope we realize our capability of, acknowledging and connecting to this bond, and also to appreciate it and feel grateful for it. So yeah, thanks a lot, and thank you everyone else for being here with us. And it was a very very amazing experience to even listen to you, to have people with similar energies, who are so willing to connect to a similar thing. And I think it's very essential. And also music, I think when Kirti said about talked about music, I think I also feel very connected, and it has been one medium for me personally to connect to the spiritual energy, or I feel very connected through music. And especially when you started, when I heard your voice along with the drum beats, oh my god, I got goosebumps all of a sudden. And it was so beautiful, because maybe we are also made of music. We are music, and we are vibrations and everything. And yeah, like it's like all of you are like part of me, and we are part of each other. It's so beautiful. So thanks a lot for making us feel what we are feeling right now. And I hope we'll stay with the feeling for at least a few hours now. And yeah, we would love to connect with you again. It was amazing.
Excellent. Thank you for having me here. And yeah, if I leave something to you guys, is think about this loving, loving mother that we have in physical form. She gives us so much, and also she can take away what doesn't serve us anymore. We give it to her, and she transforms it. She transforms it, and it becomes renewed. She transforms the tear, and they get grown into new, beautiful experience that become our source of wisdom. So use this tool. Next time it's like, I give you this, I give it to you. This is my offering. You know how to churn it and to grow into a beautiful plant. So use that on your day to day, and then that connection is already there, it's from within you. And if you want to connect with me on do some healing, Living Consciously can pass you my details.